name is Vaughn Randolph Fourier, and I am the President and Executive Director of NewCorp Business Assistance Center, which is a community development financial institution, and also a small business administration microlender. And the program that we have embarked upon at this juncture is the 7th Ward Revitalization Project that we're calling 6x6x6x6. And we could not have done it without the help and support of the Kresge Foundation. And so to them, we're dedicating this video.
New Orleans happens to be one of the most historic cities in the United States. We have 20 historic districts, and we have a higher percentage of historic homes in New Orleans than any other city in the country. So there is always demand for the types of trades that are needed to maintain the architectural integrity of Guild. The Guild is structured in a way that it helps train a new generation of master craftsmen, while at the same time builds the capacity of the very best of the existing companies of master craftsmen who are still operating in the city right now.
I got involved with the Master Craft Guild because this trade is basically obsolete, even though it's needed. With the apprenticeship program, it subsidizes your business to the point you can actually train more people and give more people an opportunity for a living that I could actually do on my own. If you want to work in the metal field, in this shop you could take and open up your own shop and do it all, or you could take and find yourself a job and do one particular job. And all those skills are well-paid jobs. This neighborhood was noted for craftsmen. I mean, if you wanted a brick mason, plasterer, carpenter, iron worker, this is the neighborhood you came to. Most of the buildings that's in this neighborhood was built with the assistance of your neighbor. Where this shop is located at, give me a lot of satisfaction for the location because of what this neighborhood meant. And I also grew up right down the block from this shop.
Just about every house in the 7th Ward has a tradition of a trade in the family. My family, it's plastering. I'm the 5th generation plasterer. We needed an apprentice program because my generation is the last generation that was trained in members of Local 93 of the International Brothers of Plastering Association. Without the training class that we have, there's no way to learn how to plaster. Our tradition would cease to exist. So we're now in our 4th training class. We got quite a few successful young men that now have a trade. These young men are getting exposed to working in really museum quality homes. So the skills are going to be really sharp, better than most. And once you have a trade, or this one in particular, you can go anywhere in the world and work.
We have the goal of training 100 new apprentices over the next 3 to 5 years. We are been in operation since 2012. We've been very grateful to have the partnership of NewCorp Corporation for the last year. It has allowed us to expand our program to attract more apprentices and at a higher level. Our basic program trains people in 2 modules for up to a year, working with the best master craftsmen who are applying their trades in the city, working on some of the most important historic and most expensive architectural properties in the Gulf South.
The most critical piece of this is the 7th Ward Neighborhood Association. That association will lead the charge. Those are the people who all live and reside in that 6x6x6 area. those are the people that we want to be impacted most, and so they have to lead the charge. They will improve their quality of life. We will assist them.
I am Dr. Mona Lisa Saloy. I am the Conrad and Hilton Endowed Professor of English at Dillard University. I love the way I was raised, I appreciate it, and I wanted to be the neighbor that my neighbors were to me. Myself and my neighbors, we are here and we are already stakeholders. But the 7th Ward Revitalization Project, we saw that this was an additional opportunity to have a voice, to communicate with developers, to prioritize our needs, our wants in terms of beautification, safety, and quality of life. We've worked with all the green initiatives, we've built rain barrels, we've been surveyed, we've helped get the surveys done and get the word out. I'm hoping to attract new business right here in the neighborhood. We would love an outside cafe right on AP Tour. We need a juice bar. We need a corner store again. And we need a neutral ground that works for traffic, but also for parking. This was a city of walking. We want to walk to the store. We want to walk and get a sandwich. We want to invite friends and walk, but we want a walkway that is safe and lovely. We have to do our part. We know this city's 300 years old in a minute. So we have to be proactive citizens.
I think some of the very important things to recognize while we are on this journey are the people that we're looking at as our anchors in the community. In addition to the Neighborhood 7th Ward Association, we're also looking for St. Augustine High School, which is the oldest African-American all-boys school in the country, perhaps even in the nation. The 7th Ward is noted not only for the Black Mardi Gras masking Indians, it's also noted for many of our local artists, many of who have become renowned. Willie Birch, who lives in the 7th Ward and just purchased a number of properties in order to take that neighborhood into a whole different space. He's a Guggenheim Fellow, and he is a man who has been part of the 7th Ward for a very long period of time.
I've been a successful artist for more than 30 years now, and for the last 25 years, whereby my art has begun to pay for my lifestyle. So buying this property with the money I've made was a natural. And because I grew up knowing this area, and the fact that this is a historical area, particularly in terms of where many of the black community, middle class, has either been born, been raised up, Moriel, Turo, the Heidells, you name them, Jermaine Basil, they all come from this area. So all of these people have a real connection to this area. And me as a somewhat outsider, yet as a visual artist, it was the perfect place I thought I could do something that made a difference in terms of giving something back. When Vaughn found out that I'd bought this property, she came to me and was very excited because of what she's doing in terms of helping to revitalize this area. And Vaughn liked that idea and knows my history as a visual artist. So she was very welcoming in trying to help me to find sources and stuff. So with the property, it started off as me taking what the property offered and utilizing it in terms of making an art piece, like an installation. Finally, when we got to this empty lot here, it became about, okay, what can I really do to make this community or force this community to take ownership? And how you do that is that you do a garden. And it could be vegetables, it could be flowers, it could be a lot of different things. But the bottom line is that it begins, if the community takes ownership, then they could find out other ways to use this property. Plus they're getting into ecological issues, they're getting into sharing, they're getting in putting your hand in the earth. There are so many different ways that this thing will flip and benefits itself. We're talking about ways of changing the way we see, particularly in terms of black people or poor people, in terms of how they see themselves and what we all deserve as human beings. And if I could bring that to this, then I've done what I need to do as a visual artist.
I grew up in the 7th Ward, where there was produce in every store, there was a store on every corner, there was the black cleaners that picked up my clothes and brought them back, there was a black dairy that brought our milk and eggs, and there was everything that we got, we produced. All of those things, those entities as well as me lived in the 7th Ward. And we grew up prosperous and happy, and most of the 7th Ward college educated. Also a high level of home ownership. There were very few renters. Where there were doubles, generally it was families that lived in them. We're trying to recreate some of those same things that we knew brought quality of life to the people who lived there.